Hi, and welcome to Spotlight on Port Huron. I'm Catherine Bowe, and with us today we have Casey Coughlin, a senior at Port Huron Northern High School and program director of WORW. Today we'll be talking about WORW, our local high school radio station. Okay, Casey, how did the station first get started?
Well, way back in 1970, Robert Trapp, who was the speech teacher there at that time, he was currently involved with a lot of radio, and he thought it would be a wonderful idea to have a radio station put in Port Huron Northern to be run by students. So a lot of people got together and planned and worked this out, and in November of 1973 they got their FCC license and started broadcasting from that point on. So we've been broadcasting for about 20 years now. So.
Wow. Who's in charge now?
Right now, our current advisor is Ms. Susan Doherty, and she's been in charge since September of 1984. And she's our general manager, the one who advises us in everything that we do.
So how many hours a day does it air?
Well, WRW broadcasts Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. when school is in session. So during like Thanksgiving break for students and Christmas break, we won't be over air because there won't be any students there to run it. So.
And what type of music do you play?
Well, currently we're trying to widen the variety of music that we've been playing. We normally get a lot of music from record companies that is alternative music, but we've been trying to widen the variety recently. So right now, Mondays and Fridays is alternative day. Tuesdays and Thursdays we play top 40, and Wednesdays we play rock, which varies from classic rock all the way to heavy metal. So there's a great variety during the week that you can listen to.
Who decides what to play and what comes in and out of the station?
Well, first and foremost, Ms. Doherty, our general manager, she regulates what can be screened and what cannot be screened. And if she finds that it's all right, she gives it to the music department, who this year is headed by Beth Anderson. She's the music director. And she has a lot of people on her staff that she assigns CDs and records to be screened to make sure they are suitable to go over air and are appropriate for our listeners.
All right, and what is your target audience?
Well, our target audience is basically the rock and roll listener. We try to target everybody with our new format this year, from the alternative listeners to the top 40 listeners to the rock and roll. So we try to target just about everybody.
All right, and how is the station funded? Underwriters? Anything?
Yeah, we do have underwriters at the beginning of each school year. Our fundraising department, which is this year headed by Maggie Ruffing, they get in contact with various businesses in town, and these businesses sign an agreement with us, and they pay us $60, and they sign an agreement with us, and we recognize them at the top of every hour.
And what are some of the requirements to get in the class to be a DJ?
Well, first of all, when you're in 10th or 11th grade, you need to take one semester of speech and then one semester of broadcasting. And if you want to be a DJ, then you would then apply to WRW to be on staff, and you apply to a certain position on staff. So Ms. Doherty chooses from those applications who will be on staff that next year.
Basically, how many students are in a class?
Right now we've got about 3 to 5 students during each radio hour, during each class hour, and this year we have 25 students, and I believe that's the maximum that we each year could have is 25, so we've got a full group.
Now, does each person have a specific job other than DJing?
Right, yes, everybody is assigned a specific job. We have a news department, which is run by Mike Carlton this year. We're trying to put out some good news shows, and a sports department run by Brett Langolf. He's got a lot of people under him who have just recently put out their first sports show, and it was quite a success, I believe. And we have a public service department run by John Eastman, and like I said, a promotions and fundraising department run by Maggie Ruffing, and they all have everybody that is under them have certain duties that they are supposed to do. Also, each student is required to produce 3 PSAs, public service announcements, and they have to produce 3 PSAs or 3 promos each marking period, and that goes towards part of the grade. And each semester, each student has to produce a special music, sports, or news show, and that is part of their final grade also.
What are some disadvantages and advantages of being in the station as a DJ and having all these special jobs to do?
Well, like I said before, some people find that disadvantages are that some people think that the only thing they have to do to be a DJ is just to go in and spin some records and play some CDs and just to talk a little on the radio. But actually, it's a lot more than that. You know, a lot of hard work is put into each special show that each person puts out, and a lot of hard work is put into the public service area to produce public service announcements that are appropriate to the community and stuff like that. So some people might find that as a disadvantage, but it does go towards your grade. So, but the most important advantage I've come to believe would be the friendships that have formed between all the people on staff. Really, we're all really good friends, I have to say, and just the friendships that we have formed will last a long time, and that's definitely been my favorite advantage.
Would you say being the program director is challenging for you?
Well, the most challenging thing I've come across is having to grade my peers. Having to grade my peers is difficult for me sometimes because I just found it difficult to have to critique a couple of my best friends or, you know, telling them what they're doing wrong and stuff like that. And so that was something that I need to learn to overcome, so that's probably the most challenging, is grading them.
Besides grading your peers, what are some of your other responsibilities as program director?
Well, as program director, I'm responsible to make sure we're in compliance with all the Federal Communications Commission's laws. I need to assist Miss Doherty whenever she needs help. I train students in the production room as well as the studio. I also need to regulate what type of news and sports shows are going in and out of the studio. And basically just keep a run on everything.
Now, have you ever had any mishaps or funny things happen to you while you're on air doing the PA announcements?
Oh yeah, one of my responsibilities also is doing the PA announcements at Northern, third hour, at the end of third hour every day. And I tell you, there's not one day that goes by, Catherine, that I have messed up at least one word or one person's name. I tell you, it's quite interesting. But the funniest thing that I found that happened over air, it didn't happen to me, but last Christmas, every Christmas season we play some Christmas music, you know, in the spirit of the season. And one song was playing called Holly Jolly Christmas, and a couple of our staff members decided to turn the mic on and start singing along with the song. And I just remember hearing about this and thought it was the funniest thing, because I could just picture these people in this great Christmas spirit singing along. But unfortunately they did get reprimanded for that because they weren't supposed to do that, but that still tickles me a little bit.
Now, Air Band is one of the highest fundraisers for the WRW station.
Right.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Right. Air Band is a dance that WRW puts on each year at Port Huron Northern, and it's our biggest fundraiser each year. What it consists of is it's a dance, but also about 10 groups of people all get an act together, and they go up on stage and they lip sync to their favorite song and dance around and, you know, do an act to a certain song. And so, as well as being a regular dance, dancing around and having fun like a regular dance, you get to see your peers up there on stage having a good time and lip syncing, and it's really a lot of fun.
Now, how would you get into Air Band? Would you have to audition?
Yeah, actually, Air Band this year, I believe, is April 24th. So students who, you know, want to participate in that go to Northern, they need to, I think the maximum is 10 groups, and they do need to audition to make sure that, or they do need to show what they're going to be performing to make sure that it is suitable to be performed. So.
Do you have any future plans for after school in communication or broadcasting?
Well, right now, as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm going to go to St. Clair County Community College for 2 years, I believe, and then I'd like to go to either CMU or MSU and pursue a career in secondary education. I would like to major in secondary education, but minor in communications or journalism. So I just found that this experience for me has been it's been my favorite high school experience, definitely. And I've learned so much, and I just love to teach it to other people when I get older. So.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us.
And thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Look, if my mother doesn't care about my homework, why should I care?
Show me a parent who really cares, and I'll show you a kid who can learn.
My hero? Isaiah Thomas. Kevin Costner. Mr. Wall.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero? Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Port Huron. I'm your host, Jerry Steingerber, and today with me I have Lauren Allen, and she is the spokesperson for Lions International Gift to Sight program. Jason Klimek, he is the laboratory manager at Lenscrafters in the Birchwood Mall. And Richard Brooks, he is a laboratory technician. What is the Gift to Sight program?
Gift to Sight is an eyeglass recycling program. It's co-sponsored by the Lions Club International and Lenscrafters. It was started in 1988, about 6 years ago. This is our 6th annual drive. What we do is collect used eyeglasses that are in serviceable condition. We clean them, repair them if necessary, and then distribute them to needy people in developing countries. It's, like I said, this is our 6th year. Our goal this year is to collect 1 million pair of glasses to donate. It's a great public service program, and we're real proud of it, and we're real happy to be here to tell you about it. And we want to get you in the door and get you to give us our old eyeglasses so we can get them to someone who needs them.
When did it first get started?
Like I said, it started in 1988. The first year we only collected about 6,000 pair of eyeglasses. Then last year we collected about 780,000. So we're well on our way to helping more people in the world to see their own world, help them go to school, help them work, make the world a better place for a lot of people who don't have a chance to wear glasses.
Who started the program?
It was co-sponsored by Lions Club International and Lenscrafters in 1988, and we've been working together on a real continual basis, on a year-round basis. Our big drive, though, is through the holiday season, which is mid-November through New Year's. And this is why we want to get the message out to people in the area now. It's a good way to give a little holiday spirit, helping other people. You can give a gift of sight to other people.
When does this begin?
Like I said, we do it year-round, but the big drive starts this week. Your local Pontiac Lenscrafters, or I'm sorry, Port Huron Lenscrafters. I'm from the Detroit area. The Pontiac Lenscrafters is having a big drive on the 13th and 14th of November.
Port Huron Lenscrafters.
Port Huron. Do I say Pontiac?
Yes.
Like I said, I'm from the Detroit area. I keep thinking of our stores. Sorry.
Yes. Birchwood Mall.
It's in Birchwood Mall.
Yes.
And they're doing a big drive on the 13th and 14th of November, where for every pair of used eyeglasses that a customer brings in, they'll give you a $10 refund on any purchase of eyewear.
Lauren, we're not really doing a refund. What we'll do is we will credit $10 for every pair of used eyeglasses towards a new pair of glasses. If there's a limit of 10 glasses, there's no monies involved. There's no cash refunds.
Right.
But for every pair of glasses, you get $10 off of the price of a new pair of glasses. You could go into with 10 pairs of glasses, walk out with a new set of glasses if you couldn't otherwise afford them. I think it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's a great deal. That actually is less than our cost. So it's a good charitable thing to do. And like I said, it's running for 2 days. That's on a Saturday and Sunday. Good time to come in. And like Richard said, it's not a refund. It's a credit towards a new purchase. And the Port Huron store is the only store in the area that's doing it. They're kind of spearheading this whole Gift of Sight program in the Michigan area.
Oh, Lauren, as far as spearheading a program, not every Lenscrafter is doing what we are doing as far as the donations that we're making.
Right.
We're the only store that we know of that's doing this, but it's to kick off the program. I think we're the first to go media with this, and you know, we've got the early jump on it, but the more you get, the more you get.
These two gentlemen have been very enthusiastic, and they're kind of, like you said, getting the jump and getting everybody started, and we're hoping to get A little more coverage, because we could always use a little more publicity than we're already getting so that more people will come donate glasses for us.
How can someone who needs eyeglasses get help?
By contacting your local Lions Club International chapter, they will then contact us and get the ball rolling.
How many people benefit from this program?
Well, there's several different segments of the Gift of Sight program. One of the things we do is send missions to developing countries. We've done 3 of those. Last year was to Kenya, and we distributed about 6,000 pairs of glasses personally to the people over there. And then we also distribute them to the Lions Club International and other charities around the world to distribute year-round and on a worldwide basis. And then our local focus is done through several ways. We have charitable certificates with the Lions Club, which again you can find out about by contacting them. And we're also doing a Hometown Days this year. This is the first year we're doing that. It's November 30th, and the store is going to be not open to the public, but open a couple of hours before our normal business hours. And we're going to try to do probably about 25 to 30, would you say?
Yes.
Give free eye exams and free eyewear to people who are needy. And again, you can find out about that by contacting your local Lions Club. That's our big local promotion this year. We're pretty proud of it. We're just starting that.
Why is Lenscrafters getting involved?
Lenscrafters as a company, of course, we're a retail optical company, and we're real service-oriented. We want to help the community. I know that sounds maybe a little altruistic and maybe a little too politically correct these days, but we're real interested in helping, and we really want to bring the gift of sight to people who might not otherwise have that advantage. We sometimes take eyeglasses for granted, but it's not an absolute taken for granted item for some people. So we want to bring the gift of sight to the people who need it the most, who can afford it the least.
Laura, if I can jump on that for a minute. It's a good example, I think, as far as a thesis of why did Lenscrafters become involved. Lenscrafters it's a good corporation. You know, it's making it. But the big deal here is why not the give back? And I'm not sure, but I don't think we can get a tax write-off for this. It's a given back to the community that serves us and that we serve. Lenscrafters has a conscience.
How many years have you been doing this?
Started in '88, and so this is our 6th annual year. This year our goal is 1 million pair of glasses donated by New Year's. We need help with that. We did almost 800,000 last year. We did about 780,000. So I think we can reach our goal. The year before that we only did about 400,000. So we're well on our way. We're going to get 1 million pair this year and then some.
How big is the need for eyeglasses?
Huge. Like I said, here in the States we tend to take things for glasses, but in a lot of developing countries, eyeglasses are a luxury. That's where our missions come into the developing countries. There are some countries where a pair of eyeglasses can cost a month's wages. You know, we take it for granted, but it's a luxury for some people. It's estimated that I think 40 million people could use some help seeing on a worldwide basis. We want to help as many of those 40 million as we possibly can. Our company challenge is to help 1 million people to see by the end of the decade. That Lenscrafters will personally do that. So we've got a big challenge, but we're going to do it.
Lauren, some of these countries don't even have optical laboratories or
Right.
any eye facilities at all.
Right. Some countries don't even have labs to cut the lenses and put them in the frames. So that's where we come in.
What do you do in the United States?
Like I said, there's several local things that we do. The Hometown Day that we're doing on November 30th is the newest thing. Every store in the country is doing that. There's about 500 Lenscrafters stores. Every store is doing it at some level. And every store is trying to service, you know, depending on the size of the store and the staff, we're trying to service anywhere from between 12 to 18 people. Our goal is 6,000. That's about 6,000 people that we want to serve on that one day. And that's all on a local basis, again, working with the Lions Club International.
If I can add on that,
Sure.
during the Hurricane Hugo, Lenscrafters donated thousands of pairs of glasses to people whose homes were totally wiped out, destroyed, had nothing left, no insurance. During the Oakland fires, Lenscrafters gave hundreds of pairs of glasses to the Oakland fires in California to families whose homes were totally destroyed.
It wasn't just a matter
So-
of giving the lenses, Mr.
was-
Climax. They actually did some lateral transferring of staff people, lab technicians, managers, down to that area to coordinate the effort. It wasn't just a shotgun approach. This was done quite professionally.
Right. Lenscrafters helped out with the recent flood in the Midwest, too. They, again, donated hundreds of pairs to help people see after that.
Why don't you give out used glasses in the U.S.?
Legal restrictions prevent it in the U.S. That's why in this country we focus more on charitable free exams like the Hometown Day, the free eyeglasses and free exams, and again donating services and donating doctors' time and staff time rather than used eyeglasses. We just can't do it here, so we have to take the used ones somewhere else.
Can I jump on that just for a second? There are many, as we all know, charitable organizations that facilitate, helping the less fortunate. And in this country, although it's not complete, it's being worked on as far as taking care of the less fortunate. The foreign countries and the third world countries and developing countries don't have the facilities, the time, and some of them don't have the inclination to go after the normal pawn in the game of life, as it were, the common citizen. This is where we come in. They don't have organizations that are charitable and giving like this country has. So indeed, the foreign countries, the third world countries, developing countries, would be the less fortunate and the most needy. And this is where Lions Club International and Lenscrafters develops or devotes their total attention. The more bang for the effort, as it were.
How else are Lenscrafters and Lions Club International involved together?
We do whatever we can to help visually impaired and the blind. Lenscrafters has pledged about $250,000 to Lions Club International's. Besides the Gift of Sight program, which is our main focus together, they also do Sight First, which helps with glaucoma screenings, corneal transplants, cataract surgery centers, treatment training. Of course, Lions Club International, their big focus is on helping the visually impaired. That's their main charitable focus. So we do whatever we can to help them.
Can I one more time jump on here?
Absolutely.
We put the same quality in these glasses that are received. I don't know if this has been mentioned or not, but when these glasses are gathered, they're categorized, their prescriptions identified precisely, and then they're distributed overseas with the same care and quality that Lenscrafters is not only famous for, but we just do. I'm a lab technician. I work for, this is my manager, Mr. Jason Klimek. And it's not only a great place to work, every employee I'm working with, every single one, is gung-ho on this project. They really believe in it, and we just like everybody to participate, even if you don't need glasses. If you got a couple laying around, maybe grandma had some and she's not using them or something, bring them in, because you're going to help the less fortunate. And the more people that participate, the better this is going to be. And I'm not getting political here, but we all know, hey, the country's image could use a little spiffing up overseas, so let's get with it, America. That's what I'd like to say.
Who is Lions Club International?
They're the largest service organization in the world. I think they were founded in 1917. And like I said, their big focus has been on helping the visually impaired. That's why we work with them, because, again, because of the service emphasis. Like Richard said, we want to give back. We want to help the world, do what we can, do our part.
We want to see eye to eye with poverty and have them look back for a change.
That's right.
When was Lions Club first formed?
1917. And we've been with them for since '88, about 6 years.
What are their goals?
The Lions Club International, or?
Lions Club International.
Lions Club is, again, helping the world, helping the visually impaired, helping the blind. Besides the things I mentioned before, they also provide services such as the guide dog programs, Braille writers, things of that nature.
Yeah, another thing too, Lions Club is a great fraternal organization. I'm not here to pump up the Lions, or I'm not here to pump up Lenscrafters, but you combine two agencies that care and are willing to give back, and the results got to be dynamic. The Lions Club, I have yet to hear anyone speak bad about Lions. It's a good organization. They care. They approached us, in '88, and we've been a team ever since. And I would say, charity-wise, it's a happy marriage, and we all believe in what we're doing, and come join us.
Yeah, Lions Club, like I said, it's the largest organization in the world. They have about 1.5 million members, and they're represented in about 180 countries. And Lenscrafters is the largest optical retailer, and we have about, like I said, about 500 stores. So you get the two of us together, and it's a pretty strong, powerful team to really effective, all encompassing, to really spread it worldwide, do local things, do worldwide things, do everything we possibly can. Like Richard said, again, everybody in the company is real enthusiastic about this program. It's probably one of the company programs that everyone feels good about, everyone's happy to help with, and we all want to do as much as we can, as quickly as we can.
Well, to make this work, you've got to have 2 or more dynamic organizations, and I think they're in place. But we need the general public. You know, if there's any way to get people involved, and I haven't heard of it, give me a call, 385-0888. I'm at Lenscrafters. Richard Brooks.
Right.
That's for the guy with no hair.
Right, he's at the Port Huron store. There's also an 800 number you can call if you...
Oh, we don't have a Port Huron store. We moved up to Birchwood Mall now.
Birchwood Mall,
Yeah.
which is Fort Gratiot, I guess. That's the...
Gratiot, yes.
Gratiot. That's the area. But there's also an 800 number people can call, which will give you the number of the nearest Lenscrafter location.
Can I give it, teacher? 1-800-522-LENS?
There you go. Go. It's his turn.
1-800-522-LENS. This will give you store locations where you can drop these glasses off.
Right. It'll ask for, I believe it asks for your phone number or zip code, and then it will give you the location of the nearest store and directions to it.
Bring 10 pair. You could probably walk out with free glasses. You can't beat that. That's bang for your effort, not the buck.
I understand that last year's efforts broke all records.
They did. It's about 780,000 pair, and the year before that, it was about 400,000, so we almost doubled. We'd really like to do that again. Our goal is 1 million pair by New Year's, but we'd really like to get beyond that. 1 million is almost, not a high enough goal.
Is there anything you'd like to say in closing about the program?
I think I'd just like to remind everybody that this is important. This is one of the easiest ways you can spread a little holiday cheer. It doesn't take any time, it doesn't take any money. All you have to do is maybe clean out an old drawer and bring in some glasses. Even if you don't wear glasses, we'd love to take your donations, and we'll see that they get, like Richard said again, cleaned and repaired and sorted to prescription and gotten to someone who can really use them. And for the local hometown days, like I said, if you need help with glasses, or if you know someone who needs help getting glasses, contact your local Lions Club chapter. They'll put you in touch with us. And again, like Richard said too, these gentlemen both work in the lab. They're real aware of our quality standards. Even with our free eyeglasses, we give the same quality and service. We're very proud to do it. It's not like a second-rate thing we do. Everyone gets the same care and quality and high standards, and even the same warranty after the fact. So everybody benefits, I think, from the local promotions too.
One thing we didn't mention, we mentioned that Lenscrafter employees and technicians and professionals go overseas for these efforts, but the one thing that nobody mentioned is the corporation doesn't tell us to do this. We are a volunteer force. When I learned a lot more, because there's so much to learn in optics, anybody can go. It's all volunteer, and someday I'm hoping to zip on overseas and help out.
We're all hoping to go soon. And like I said, again, it's all volunteer, just as Lions Club International is. But once a year, like I said, we send a mission team, they call it, to some developing country. So far we've been to Costa Rica and Panama and Kenya. And we haven't picked a location this year. We're kind of excited to find out where we get to go. They kind of just, they'll see how the collection goes and decide where the need is greatest and where we can do the most good.
I heard next year they're going to send us up to take a look at the Hubble telescope and give it a pair of glasses.
He's our comedic relief over there.
Bob Hope's brother, no hope, yes.
But to mention again that the program does last until New Year's. It is year-round. Our main drive is New Year's, but it's this coming weekend only that we're going to apply $10 credit.
That's the 13th
towards
and 14th,
any purchase.
right?
It's any purchase at the Port Huron, Fort Gratiot location.
Yeah, that's
in the Birchwood Mall.
right. That's this weekend at Birchwood Mall. Anything else, Sheldon?
I'll be there. Come see the glare.
Yeah.
Okay, and thank you for watching Spotlight on Port Huron. If you have any ideas for any future shows, don't be afraid to call us at 984-6621.